Today's Spotlight is brought to you in part by presenting sponsor, First Community Financial Bank, the community bank where you come first. You're watching Spotlight, and with me today in studio are Tina Marie Hernandez and Bill Bogdan of Diveheart, and we are so glad that you're with us. This is the first time.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Happy to be here.
We are really glad you are, because Tina Marie, you're going to start us off and tell us, what is Diveheart?
So Diveheart is a 501c3 nonprofit that is out of Downers Grove. We're 15 years old. We work with people with disabilities and we take them scuba diving. We use scuba as therapy, and we also use it as a way to build confidence, self-esteem, and independence in people with disabilities.
Okay, and what kinds of disabilities do you service?
We work with cognitive as well as physical disabilities, and as long as someone doesn't have something that's a pressure-related illness or no open sores, we can get them into the water and we can allow them to experience freedom.
Okay, now what brought you to the organization?
I met the founder and president, Jim Elliott, at an alumni event for NIU. We both worked for the Northern Star when we were in our college years, and so I met him there and thought this is an awesome opportunity for me to get involved, and it was near my house. I live in Woodridge, so it was just a perfect fit.
Okay, now Bill, how did you get engaged with Diveheart?
Well, I've been a person with a disability my whole life, and I was always told growing up things that I can't do. So when I had a buddy of mine that wanted to try scuba diving, got into scuba diving, and I says, hey, I'd like to try that. And right from there, I was hooked. I got involved in Diveheart back in 2007 because, as I mentioned, when I started scuba diving, there wasn't organizations that help people with disabilities learn how to scuba dive. So I was pretty much on my own. And like I said, it was really a great experience to learn how to scuba dive, and I wanted to be able to take my experiences and help other people with disabilities get the advantages and learn to scuba dive.
That's wonderful. I mean, it's wonderful that you experienced the services and then you decided you become part of the board, which I love that. It's stepping up to a leadership position. What benefits do you feel you get from that Diveheart experience?
Well, one of the greatest memories that I always have and I always have in my heart with scuba diving, I even remember my first dive is they helped me get out onto the boat. We get all on the boat, we're all nervous, we're getting ready to go, and my wheelchair is left on the pier. And as the boat takes away, that wheelchair gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And when you're underwater, I don't need the wheelchair. It's one of the only places really that I can go truly for freedom without needing my wheelchair to help me navigate through a sea of everything.
Oh, that's wonderful. That you bring me almost to tears just even thinking about that. That's incredible. Tina Marie, you talked a little bit about scuba therapy, and I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about that. So how does that work?
Sure. So we use scuba as a therapy to help people, say someone on the autistic spectrum. They use therapies out of water by having weighted vests. When you're in the water, the deeper you get, you naturally get a hug. So that's something. You also might have someone who goes, I need sensory deprivation, that helps me. That's another form of therapy. Well, when you're underwater, you eliminate all the surface distractions. You're kind of down there and you're hearing yourself breathe, and you're able to focus your mind and focus your thoughts better. So a lot of people say after a scuba session, they come up and they're much more clear-headed. It's hyperbaric, so you're getting that type of therapy as well. And there's just a ton of things that we don't know yet. I know, like with Down syndrome, a lot of people have respiratory issues, and so when they're down there, they're actually getting a therapy of breathing when they're on the regulator. And so we've had families say their doctor knows when they've had a session with Diveheart because they have some improved respiratory things come out.
So it's not just physical, it's psychological and maybe even emotional a little bit, as you talked about, Bill, with your experience.
Yeah, definitely scuba diving definitely gave me a sense of accomplishment. You know, it gives you the yes, I can do that attitude. And then you can take what you learn in scuba diving and apply that into your natural life. If I could scuba dive, then I can go out and do this in the community, or I can go out and try this, or I can go out and do that. So that's, you know, so scuba diving helped open a lot of doors for me when I started.
That's great, because you talked a little bit, Tina Marie, about that whole notion of self-confidence, and it sounds like it's self-confidence, it's empowering, it's therapy.
Right. We find that some of the research that we've done with psychologists and things like that for people with TBI and traumatic brain injury is a TBI, or PTSD. A lot of our veterans are coming back with PTSD. That the first pool session is really a game changer for people. It's very powerful, where you might interview someone beforehand and they really don't feel that they can accomplish much, that they're kind of down on themselves and then down about life in general after they've done a scuba session. And it's not natural to breathe underwater. Right. So here they're doing something that a lot of people have fear of water, and they're sitting there conquering these fears that they know a lot of people have. And they come out and they have a new sense of who they are, what they can accomplish, and it just takes them to places that they never thought they would go.
That's so exciting and inspiring. And age-wise, you have divers from what sorts of ages?
We dive, people dive with us from age 8, and I have my lovely Gabe, who I dive with every summer, and he's 84 this year. He's a Korean vet, he's blind, and he is a trip and a half. So I love diving with him, and he goes down to the Florida Keys with us, and he's gonna dive until someone tells him he can't anymore.
That's great, that's terrific. Now you mentioned you go down to the Keys. You dive all sorts of places, locally, internationally.
Right, the heavy lifting that we do is in pools, and we have roughly 8 regular programs that happen in the Chicagoland area. We also have teams in Atlanta, Florida, Southern California, and then we do trips. We'll have 3 trips to Cozumel this year. We'll have a trip to Utila. We'll have a trip to the Florida Keys at least twice this summer. And for people who want to participate, they can, a lot of people can pay, but if they can't, we fundraise for them, or we help them fundraise for themselves so that they can take these life-altering trips.
Okay. So that's one of the ways our viewers could help you and support you.
Yes. Yeah. We are always looking for supporters, financially, anything in kind, and then spending time with us either at the pool or in the office, and just spreading the word, because there's too many people that still don't know about the benefits they can get through scuba diving.
Well, and I think what you said, Bill, sort of wraps it up in that everybody told you what you couldn't do, and this is really an opportunity for what you can do, and really a game changer.
Exactly. I mean, I have a lot of able-bodied friends that you scuba dive? I don't even do that,
Yeah.
So it is really, truly a great experience, and I encourage anybody with a disability and anybody without a disability to go ahead and try it. It really, like I said, when I tried it the first time, it really gave me a sense of accomplishment, and it's something that I try to instill in my children now too. That just because you have a disability, life doesn't stop for a disability. You have to keep moving forward, and Diveheart is one great way that really helps pave the way, if you will, to offer a great experience for anybody with or without a disability.
That's wonderful. Well, I thank you for sharing your story. And if you would like to learn more about how to get involved with Diveheart, please go and visit their website. We're going to take a short break. We're going to have a few messages, and then we're going to come back with more Spotlight. So stay with us.